Vision, and we are live from Iowa Speedway here on this Tuesday night for the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. Like I said, we're at Iowa Speedway, one of my favorite racetracks. My name is Austin Edstrom. I'm here with Brian Britt and Austin Darbyshire behind the production booth. Brian, how are you feeling about tonight?
Oh, well, you stole it right out of my mouth. I mean, literally, this is my favorite track on the service. I mean, awesome racetrack, 0.88 miles. So it is that kind of a short track, Richmond-like. It's actually, I'd say, more like, this is a lot like Richmond. It's actually a better version, in my opinion. A little bit more banked, and you can go side by side at this racetrack. Qualifying course underway, but excited to see what we got here. 125 laps of racing. I'm definitely excited.
Multiple grooves, multiple ways around this racetrack, and it's the penultimate race of the year. The standings are kind of heating up. I think we should take our little rundown of the standings right now. We have a really tight championship battle at the top. 4 drivers separated by 15 points going into the second to last race. Justin Levine leading the standings. That's what happens whenever you try to get Levine and leading out of your mouth at the same time. He's got a 6-point gap over Nathan Meyer. Sabilo not too far behind, only 4 points behind Meyer for that P2 position. And James South within 15 points. I've given James South a load of crap this year, but he's done a great job hanging within 15 points of his teammate Justin Levine for that championship at the end of the year. Only 2 races left, and Iowa Speedway, one of the best tracks on any circuit, whether it be A car, B car, C car, or the truck. I mean, this racetrack is unbelievably racy, unbelievably fun to race at, and like we mentioned, multiple grooves. I mean, it is just the perfect driver's short track style of racing. But now we're going to hop into our schedule. I completely forgot that was next. Just completely lost my mind. But Monday, that was last night anyway. Grid Vision Super Speedways, don't know where we're at next week, but it's going to be here on Grid Vision. Obviously, Grid Vision Super Speedways League. See us next Monday. Going to be either Daytona Talladega or iRacing Super Speedway or Atlanta. Thursday night, though, Chicagoland Speedway for the SSRL Truck Series. That's going to be at 9 Eastern Standard Time. And Sunday, heading to the desert out in Phoenix for the RGR Racing Series, also at 9 Eastern. Be sure to tune in on Thursday and Sunday. And, of course, we'll be right back here next week on Tuesday for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series season finale.
Yeah, 100%. And, of course, I do want to clarify that Monday will be Atlanta in the NASCAR truck with the Grid Vision Super Speedway Series. And also RGR this Sunday is going to be including their season and crowning a champion.
Incredible to hear that. I mean, just all the racing is kind of coming to a, I don't know, like like this is the penultimate race. They're just coming to the heat, right? Like everything's just kind of winding down, coming to a head. Yes, thank you, producer. That moves you up multiple tiers. I appreciate that. So, C tier moving up a good bit, help me out. But yeah, coming to a head. Don't know how I forgot that, but multiple series coming down. End of the real life series, you know, I just feel like all the leagues kind of wind down around that time. Multiple ones I've been calling have kind of been calling it quits, and all the leagues are kind of dwindling down. So interesting just to see how a lot of these close out. Like I said, tight championship fight in this one, and it's a natural points championship, right? It's not a gimmicky style of playoff, I gotta say. So just straight points all the way throughout the series. Relatively short series, but it leads it to be a really tight championship battle at the end. So looking forward to getting that one figured out in the next 2 races. But we're going to run through our starting lineup as we are 2 minutes away from the green flag. Starting on pole, Craig Yanzak, still not completely out of the championship fight. He's in P5. He wins the pole tonight. That's a good start to get him back into the fight. Robert Lawrence starts P2 with Keegan Sabilo not far behind in 3rd. Nathan Meyer in 4th with Sean Boundy in 5th. James Harris starts in 6th. Edward Scherer Jr. in his first start in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series starts in 7th. Joseph Causey also making his first start in 8th. John Lucido is going to start in 9th, and Brad Thacker is going to be lining up in the 10th place position.
11th place, of course, going to be Jason Taylor. 12th place, Brandon Ball. 13th, James South, who definitely needs to get some points here tonight. Of course, 14th, Justin Levine, who is our points leader. 15th, new driver in the series, Joshua Gathright. 16th, Tyler Meeks. And 17th, George Young. Quite a little bit of a field we got here tonight. I do want to go over a little bit of the details of tonight's race. No comp yellow to be spoken of. Usually we have a competition caution at some point to kind of get these guys all situated, but that's not going to be the case here tonight. I do want to also mention we'll have 85 laps of fuel I think these guys are going to want tires before we reach that. And of course, we might even see a yellow or something like that to break this race up. But usually this track's very, very green and clean. Of course, we'll see how that works out. 3 sets of tires down in the pits tonight.
Yeah, there's only 125 laps in the race with no caution. I imagine everybody's just going to come down around lap 62, anywhere from 60 to 65. They're just going to split this thing in half, so not going to go the entire distance on fuel. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know why you would. It doesn't seem like you need to save a set of tires. Maybe we can get a quick caution, throw some strategy into the mix, but I don't really see that happening right off the bat. Typically been pretty clean in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. And a couple new drivers in the league, but I've ran a fair share of races with a handful of these guys, and I know they're pretty clean out there. So I think we're going to get a really good showing here tonight with a little boost in field numbers, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys handle Iowa Speedway.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how these new drivers kind of, fit in. I mean, Edward Schurer Jr., Joseph Conzi, Joshua Ganthright. I know all of those drivers to be very fast race car drivers. So very, very curious to see how they do. I see we got some new teams as well being presented here. I know Team Kotze, glad to see them showing up here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. And here we go, though. I do believe we have one more pace lap around this racetrack. Of course, looks like Craig Yanzak has elected to start on the top. Really, really love this call. This track, you can get a lot of momentum on that top side, especially on the front stretch where it is kind of a curved front stretch that I think allows you to really stretch your legs and get a lot of momentum.
Yeah, you're starting to learn a little bit more banking on that very outside line, especially coming out of turn 4, the progressive banking at Iowa Speedway. You come out of there and you're on a little bit more banking, so I think it helps you get to the throttle a little bit cleaner, a little bit smoother, and it just gives you a really straight entrance down into turn number 1. You don't have to worry about fighting anybody off. Probably going to get the jump. Now, on this initial start, maybe not, because you do have to wait until that green flag. The leader does not control the start, but every restart afterwards, I think the high line is going to be the place to be.
And here we go. Let's find out.
Yep, coming out of turn 4 here at Iowa Speedway in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Craig Yanzak on the front row, bringing us to green there on the outside line. We are green, and we are racing at Iowa Speedway.
Greg Ganzak, of course, leading into turn number 1. Robert Lawrence, of course, going to fall behind the 3 machine side by side right now for third as we see Keegan Sabila, the short track expert. Going to see if he can make something happen here. Of course, he needs somewhat of a miracle himself. A lot of drivers fighting for points here tonight hard.
Yeah, and everybody knows that the championship leader is back in traffic. Maybe they get lucky and maybe Levine gets caught up in somebody else's accident and allows some of these guys to make up some position in the points tonight. That's a very real possibility in a short track like Iowa Speedway. Some multiple guys up front, Craig Yanzak, Nathan Meyer, Keegan Sabilo, all kind of hoping, maybe not saying it out loud, but maybe crossing their fingers that Levine has a really hard time getting through the field here tonight. Maybe finds a little bit of damage on his way through.
And I just love this track. It takes such a, I think, subtle driving ability at this racetrack. You have to, it takes everything. You got to do a little bit of trail braking. You got to be really good on throttle application. And I'll tell you one driver that has been a sleeper all season long has been Nathan Meyer. I mean, this guy has been under the radar for most of us. And look at him now, challenging for second. This guy could be possibly a championship contender for sure.
Yeah, whenever we were running down the points before the race, I was like, wait, who was P2? Who did you just say was in second place? I couldn't believe that Nathan Meyer was in second place. I mean, he's had really good runs. He's been fast all year. Hasn't won a ton of races. He's won one or two, and been really fast in a lot of them. But I didn't expect him to be within 6 points of the championship lead. But here he is. Like I said, 6 points within our championship leader of Levine, who is running back in the 11th place right now. And Nathan Meyer's hounding our race leader of Craig Yanzak here in the early going, trying to get that race lead away, trying to get a little bit more, or a few more points in the bucket, taking that one more position. But right now, hey, if this race ended right now, he would be leading the championship standings.
Yeah, that would definitely be a great day for him. And one thing about it is all these extra drivers, we were talking about before the race as well, that there's not a lot of points to be gained in this series, not like other series. But I tell you what has changed that is the introduction of the new drivers. All these other drivers are, of course, going to behave as extra points that these guys can gain. And, of course, Nathan Meyer being so far out in front of Levine is going to help him considerably.
Yeah, it does definitely make it a little bit more possible for some of these guys to make up more points. Because I know a couple of these guys are fast. Joseph Kazi running in 7th place right now. He's really, really quick. I'm telling you, he's rapid. He's got a really good chance to come through the field at some point and challenge for the race win. So that's just going to add to Levine's trouble coming through the field. I just having a couple of these really quick guys that he hasn't raced really all season in the league, and now he's got to find a way past them. And a track like Iowa, very possible track to pass at, not the most difficult with the multiple lanes, but still, you can make it very difficult on somebody here just driving a little bit harder than what you were before you kind of get put double file, and you can put him in a hard spot as Sabilo's doing it right now to Harris coming off of turn number 2. Just kind of holding that right rear, but it looks like Harris is going to get that position. That's going to move him up to P5, right above the 77.
Now, I talked about Keegan Sabilo, of course, being somewhat of a short track expert, but it looks like he's actually struggling around Iowa right now. This track is probably not something that he's very much used to. Of course, James Harris has just gotten by him. Sean Boundy before that. I mean, he has been dropping positions ever since the green flag really started. You talked about Joseph Kazi. He made it to round 2 of Road to Pro, so he has definitely got quite a bit of talent behind this NASCAR truck, and you can see it right now. And, of course, Justin Levine, our points leader, he's making his way around Sabilo, so he is hunting to possibly get up here in the top 5.
Yeah, you got to think Sabilo's pretty frustrated right now. Levine started way back in the back of the pack, and we're only 10 laps in, and now Levine is passing Sabilo for the 7th place position after Sabilo started in 3rd. So he's started in the top 3, and he's getting passed by his championship rival here before we even complete lap 10, whenever Levine started 10, 15 positions behind him. That's a big deal, man. I mean, that's not a good case there for Keegan Sabilo. I mean, he could very well just be saving tires, but I feel like that's a little bit too much of saving.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely 100% agree. We saw this some similar strategy last week from Keegan, and it seemed like it paid off for him, but it did not earn him a win. As we see side by side now for 2nd place, Robert Lawrence, after being passed early by Nathan Meyer, has elected to take the position back, change in position for 2nd place. As Lawrence now going to see if he could possibly set his sights on Janzak. Janzak last time by was a little bit slower than the rest of the field, but Lawrence has really hit I think his stride at the moment.
Yeah, we were talking about Sabilo maybe underdriving to save the tires, but a couple people that have been overdriving. Nathan Meyer, who we just saw get repassed by Robert Lawrence, and Craig Janzak. I feel like Lawrence is faster than Janzak right now, and a couple of guys throughout the pack. Sean Boundy looks a little bit quicker. James Harris might be a little bit quicker. I think a couple of these guys up towards the front are maybe pushing just a little bit too hard, too quick, and are starting to feel the after effects from that right now.
Yeah, 100%. No, I definitely think you're right, and I think we're going to start to see a lot of shakeups in this field. I mean, even guys further back in the pack are running faster than the top 10. So I do suspect we're going to see some guys starting to make their way through the field. Of course, it is quite a difficult track to pass at, though. I mean, Craig Janzak having control of this field right now is going to make it incredibly difficult for Robert Lawrence. But you see, look at that. Janzak all the way up to the top of the track. I'm wondering if that car is getting tight or if this is possibly a technique to defend challenges for the lead. Because you can see on this front stretch, he gets massive runs using that top sign.
I think he might just be a little bit too tight to run the bottom. It just seems that he can't quite get down there right now whenever Lawrence can really just float the truck down to the yellow line every single time. And I think that Janzak is just having to kind of resign himself to run that outside defensive line and kind of pinch off the exit from the 5. It's working so far, but I definitely think that the 5's a better truck. But because of that battling, it's going to allow Nathan Meyer to get to the outside of Robert Lawrence going down into turn 1. Lawrence has been good on the bottom, and he's got the edge over the 24, but he's not going to be able to have the run. Nathan Meyer is going to get it down the back and down into turn 3, still on the outside of the driver of the 5. I think Nathan Meyer is going to complete this pass and get back up into P2.
We might see a 3-wide scenario here because, I mean, you see Craig Janzak continuing to run that absolute top. Iowa is known for, you can make 3-wide work at this racetrack. Other tracks it's not as feasible. But I'll tell you another truck that's looking really, really quick right now is James Harris. He's one of the fastest trucks on the track. He's now side by side with 3rd place Robert Lawrence. He's coming through the field as well as Sean Boundy. Things are starting to have a somewhat of an accordion effect right now. I'm loving this. This is getting exciting.
Yeah, everybody in the, top 9 just kind of spread out a good bit at the beginning of this run. And over the course of the last 5 laps, they've all just kind of found each other once again, and they're all nose to tail fighting just about as if it was a restart. 18 laps in, everybody's still just super, super close. Everybody in the top 9 within 1.7 seconds of each other. Heck, if you take Sabilo out of that, just make it the top 8, they're within 1.2. So just really tight racing up front. Awesome to see, but unfortunately for Lawrence, I thought he was fast enough to pass the race leader. Got stuck on the inside line.
He's
Has
in
been
trouble.
passed by Nathan Meyer, passed by James Harris, and now he's getting passed by Sean Bounty. And it's probably going to get worse for him because it looks like Joseph Kazi's going to follow him on the outside, and Levine is going to fill in that gap as well.
Yeah, he's in trouble. I mean, Robert Lawrence looked like he had the hot hand, had the speed at just the right moment, but unfortunately, he is somewhat, I think, got locked on the bottom. I think that the middle groove has kind of become the preferred groove right now, and the 5, unfortunately, cannot get up. As you can even see, he's getting a little bit tight up on Joseph Causey. This has gotten to be, I think, some alarm bells are going off right now in the mind of Robert Lawrence. Side by side, though, for the lead, Nathan Meyer trying to see if he can take it away, as we see a little bit of a loose condition there from Lawrence.
Well, this really shows in the late run you cannot give up that outside groove. You got to get up the racetrack, and the way to pass people is to somehow get to their right rear quarter panel. I feel like that's kind of the strategy everybody's going to be employing for the rest of the night. If you want to pass after 10, 15 laps on the tires, you got to get to the right rear. Oh, the caution flag's out. Lap 21, not quite sure.
I think this might involve John Lacido in the 73 machine. You see, he is, of course, went back to the last place position. He's going to kick that car around. Let's see exactly what happened here to the 73. I do believe he was in the midst of battling, I think, Joshua Gathright. And you see Gathright, I think, clears himself on the 73. I think Gathright thought he was clear, and unfortunately was not.
I'd have to agree with you there. Kind of unfortunate. Gathright just kind of drifted off the bottom of the racetrack, and Lacido barely had his nose there, but he's there. You know, he had the position. He has every right to defend it. Didn't do anything egregious or anything unpredictable. Just kept his momentum going. Unfortunately, Gathright just did not clear him whenever he thought he had, and unfortunately cleared himself across the nose of John Lacido. But everybody's going to come down pit road, I do believe. 3 tire sets behind pit wall, so 4 total for the race. You've only really got to change 1 over the course of the green flag run, so I feel like coming in, taking a set right now, and expecting this thing to run green is probably the right strategy play, and it looks like everybody in the field is coming down to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think that this is really really a call to save a little bit better. I think a lot of those guys in that 20-lap run noticed that they started struggling. I think that these guys are going to maybe have a little bit of a different mindset. And anybody that was burning their stuff up is probably going to be a little bit more cautious this time around.
We're going to go ahead and take some time to pay attention to one of our sponsors. And we all love barbecue. Green Mountain Pellet Grills are top-of-the-line quality grills for all your grilling needs. GMG also offers the highest quality grills, dry rubs, sauces, and pellets, but not the highest in price. Customers enjoy the best possible grilling experience without breaking the bank. Visit either any one of our thousands of locations across the United States or visit us at greenmountaingrills.com for online purchases, recipes, and much more. That's Green Mountain Grill. Thank you for supporting the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. We appreciate you and allowing us to put on this show week in and week out.
I definitely appreciate as well all the money that is going towards Austin Edstrom's reading ability, where we're trying to school him on that. I'm just playing, Austin.
Whoever wrote these up are, second grade reading level.
Oh.
There are these where there's not supposed to be these. There's, I don't know. It's just all over the place. It's kind of tough. At the top of the script, I think it said my name is Brian Britt, so I think I need to hunt down whoever that guy is. Let him know.
Whoever that is. I don't know.
I'm going to search this guy up. Making me look like a fool.
What a race, though, we're having. I tell you, it's been very entertaining. That's why I love this track. I mean, you're always going to see something exciting going on, and, it's usually conducive for green flag racing. I'll tell you what I'm excited for, Austin, is we're going to see this racetrack in the NASCAR Cup Series. And are you not excited about that?
I'm super excited about it, and I'm hopeful that we get a little bit different short track package next year so that it makes it even better. I think this is one of the few short track style of racetracks that could probably put on a good show in the next gen, just because there's so many different lanes you can use through the corner, and I think that's kind of the main thing you need in the next gen cars, just different lanes to get through the corner. So I think that it would still put on a good show, but I think them making the short track package better week in and week out is kind of the main focus right now, and could make this honestly a classic. I think Iowa is one of the best racetracks in the country, and it puts on good shows in the Xfinity car, puts on good shows in the Indy car, and I'm very, very hopeful it's going to put on a good show in the next gen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Whenever they announced that, I about lost my mind. But looks like we're about to go green.
Yeah, the pace car's about to pull off, and we're about to get ready for some more high-octane action. We've got Craig Anzac on the front row alongside Nathan Meyer. Anzac takes that outside line as the pace car comes down there in the Geico restart zone. And Craig Anzac first to the gas, first to the lead. Anzac going to go down to turn 1. Easy lead over Nathan Meyer in second.
Yeah, Virgin on 3 wide here. Look at the big send from James Harris. Bold move. And he is going to make that work out of turn 2. He takes over second place. Here comes Joseph Kazi. Big send for him as well. He's going to try to take over third. Look at the battle. And 3 wide. Justin Levine in the middle.
Oh, a lot of guys on the bottom of 3 and 4 getting loose. But look, there's a race for the lead. James Harris to the inside of Craig Anzac. First real challenge for the race lead all day. It looks like the 55 of Harris still trying to make that bottom side work. And 1-2, oh, he gets a little loose over the bumps on the inside. Able to hold on to that truck. But he's going to go 3 wide now entering turn 3. Levine splits them. Sean Bounty on the outside. They're still 3 wide through the middle of 3 and 4. The 55 just trying to make up time, trying to make up for those mistakes that he made on the previous lap, and he's not going to be able to do it. Both drivers get by. Now, contact with Sabilo on the outside, a little bit more through the center of the corner. Washes up the driver, the 77. 55 and 77 both going back multiple positions in 1 and 2.
Yeah, I bet Sabilo not too happy with the 55 there, but I think the 55 was just having handling woes. Once he had gotten loose, it was hard for him to get that truck controlled again. Under control again, I should say, is Keegan Sabilo now up to 7th place. Of course, Craig Anzac able to weather the storm that was, of course, the challenge from James Harris. But now he's got a new contender, a new challenger has entered the ring. Joseph Kazi, round 2 Road to Pro driver, is up here, and he's ready for a fight.
Yeah, Kazi, first race in the series, trying to make his name known, looking to take the lead here on lap 29, coming to 30 across the stripe. Anzac still holds on to it, though, as they go down into turn number 1. Driver the 3 looking good over the bumps on the bottom of the racetrack, but Joseph Kazi in that black number 8 coming off the corner has a good run. Kind of looking to the inside before they get to turn 3, not really close enough to make that kind of dive into the corner. Just trying to do that late apex down into the bottom of the racetrack, get the better run, but he gets just a little twitchy coming off the corner, has to save the truck, has to back off just a little bit. Kind of in the clutches of Nathan Meyer. Nathan is not too far behind, right on the back bumper there of the 8.
And it really just shows you how talented this field is when you got a guy that made it to round 2 of Road to Pro up here just battling in and able to put on a significant these guys are able to put on a good enough of a defense against a driver like that. But also you got to keep in mind, Kazi's coming from, I think, open setup racing in the NASCAR truck. It's got to be quite the transition to use a fixed setup in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. But here comes Nathan Meyer. Of course, Meyer trying to hold off Sean Bounty. Bounty, of course, has his hands full with the 33 of Justin Levine, our points leader.
Yeah, we're starting to see a couple people migrate to the top. We saw everybody start to do it at the end of the last run. I'm curious to see how many laps it takes for everybody up in the top 5 just to be riding the wall all the way around the racetrack. I mean, I just feel like that seems to be the popular groove after the tires get a little worn off. And at that point, I feel like it's just going to be really, really difficult to pass. I think you've got to get your passing done before then, unless you can make somebody just completely overrun their tires through the rest of the run. But that's, I don't know, that's not a very likely story. So I feel like if I'm Joseph Kazi, I'm thinking, man, I got to get this made, or this move for the lead made before the tires go off.
And here comes a huge move right now. Look at that. Sean Bounty, big send to the inside. You see Kazi touches the wall outside of turn 2. He is, I think he's giving a lot of mercy to the 3 right now. He could easily get to the back bumper of the 3 as they almost go 3 wide as Bounty once again tries to make a move. Here we go, side by side for the lead. Joseph Kazi gonna see if he can take it all. Does he get clear? We're getting ready to find out. Very close racing out of 2.
It's going to be tough to take it on the inside of the racetrack, but down in 3 and 4, I feel like you can get away with a little bit more on entry, but I think that Craig Anzac thought the exact same and drove it in really deep on the outside of 3 and 4, able to get the good run off the corner as well. And I feel like this is just going to get harder and harder for Joseph Kazi to make this pass as the laps move on. He's either going to have to give Craig Anzac a little bit of a bump or just wait for a mistake so that he can get by, but I think those chances are going to be pretty few and far between.
Yeah, and you know, Craig Anzac always has been a very aggressive driver, and he a lot of times sees that as a positive. And you know, I see it that way too. Most of the time, it works out for him. But I think he's met his match. I think Kazi not his match. I'd say Kazi might not be better than him, but I say that they are very similar in their driving styles. And I think we're seeing that play out right here. As what is Kazi going to be willing to do here? I mean, is he going to try to maybe switch strategies, maybe go to the top and battle him? Because it seems like Janzak has got the defending line pretty much down pat. It's going to be very difficult to pass on that bottom, as of course that is normal for Iowa.
Yeah, it's going to be so tough because you got those bumps on the inside. Janzak pinches the 8 on the center of the corner and just completely prevents Joseph Kazi from getting any type of run. Oh man, Levine! Huge dive bomb into turn 3, trying to make a move on Nathan Meyer, trying to slide him on the exit of turn 4, not able to make it work. I mean, he was way far back. I don't even know what he was thinking going down into the corner. It looked like he completely missed it, but he hit the apex and just tried to slide in front of the 24. Not quite able to do it, but man, if you would have made that stick, that would have looked really, really cool.
I mean, it would have looked like he had 10 mile an hour more horsepower, 10 more horsepower there. I mean, he drove it in so deep, but unfortunately was not able to make that work. Another driver that's really driven his way to the front has been Edward Schurer Jr. In the 16. He's up in 5th right now, of course, right here battling with Justin Levine as they go side by side once again for the lead. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the top 10, or should I say run down through the running order. Greg Janzak in the midst of a battle for, whoop, Kazi has gotten clear. I stand corrected. Big slide job.
The slider from Joseph Kazi. I mean, he sent it into turn 3. He saw what Levine did 2 laps ago, and he said, wait a minute, that looks possible. I think I can do that with nobody up here in front of Janzak. And he just decided to turn hard left, enter in turn 3 without letting go of the throttle, and just drove right by the driver. The 3 slid right up over his nose on the exit of the corner. And it was pretty close coming off the corner too. It's not like he got the move done and easily cleared him. It was pretty close coming off, as we're going to get that rear bumper cam look coming off the corner. I mean, that's as close as you get coming off. They make a little bit of contact through the restart zone. Good job hanging on to it by Kazi.
Yeah.
Good job not wrecking him by Janzak, because I feel like he kind of had every right. You know, you pull a slider like that. If the other guy wrecks you, just kind of part of it. But Janzak racing clean there.
That was awesome. That was definitely an awesome run there for Joseph Kazi. I think now's a good time, though. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll go side by side here on Grid Vision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Grid Vision here, as we've got the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series at Iowa Speedway. I'm Austin Edstrom. I'm here with Brian Britt in the commentary booth, and Austin Derbyshire down behind the production booth. Welcome back. Nothing really happened over the commercial break. Nothing too crazy. Still under green. Nobody's pit yet. Nowhere really near the pit stop. window. We pitted around, what, lap 25, went green around that time as well. So probably going to see pit stops around 75. So we're about halfway there on this green flag run. Joseph Cosby still leads over Craig Anzac. The gap is only 0.2 of a second. Nathan Meyer not too far behind. Oh, but he gets a tap from Justin Levine. That's our third place driver going into turn one. Almost gets turned around going down into the corner. And Levine now looking to the outside coming off of turn number 2.
Yeah, these drivers are starting to really deal with, I think, the tires going on these vehicles. I mean, you could, we're about 20-something laps, 25-plus laps on the tires right now, and I think these guys are starting to struggle. We're seeing about a second of fall off for a lot of these guys, so definitely I think that's going to continue. Some drivers are struggling more than others, and one in particular, I think, is Nathan Meyer, and I think that's exactly why we saw that little bit of contact there with Levine. Levine's trying his best to get by that of course 24.
Yeah, but this is a hard track to pass at, and that's what we saw. Like you said, we saw that contact because it's just so difficult to pass, and Levine has not been able to make it work. He's trying to dip to the outside like we just saw right there, trying to get the right side of the car just a little bit to the outside of the 24, get that clean air, dip down to the inside now with that run that he got on the outside of the racetrack. Now trying to drive it in deep, trying to do that slide job move that we saw earlier. Didn't make it work a little bit earlier. Still trying to make it. Oh, just squeezes Nathan Meyer almost to the outside wall. Not able to get clear. He needed to be a little bit more decisive than that, but it was not quite able to do it. But it looks like he's going to be able to do it in 1 and 2 unless Nathan Meyer can make that undercut. Or Levine gets a little high on the racetrack, but I think he's going to be okay going down to 3.
Yeah, he was able to make that past Dick, but I'm wondering what number that did on those tires. I feel like that's going to definitely hurt him. One thing I noticed in that whole deal, too, I think most of these setups seem to, or this fixed setup is trending towards the tight side. I'm seeing these guys are getting incredibly tight. I mean, you saw Levine whenever he did that, kind of ascend on the 24, had to back off quite a lot in order to really make that corner work.
Well, and you expect that because he does drive it in deep, but I got to agree with you. Everybody just looks super tight through the center of the corner. I'm not really seeing anybody twitch, nobody wiggle. And if they do wiggle coming off the corner, it's just because they were tight in the center of the corner and they got so much wheel input. And once it comes out, the truck unloads, it just gets loose. So not really seeing any loose conditions in the middle of the corner. Maybe on new tires, you see it over the bumps in 1 and 2, but after the tires kind of wear in, you get the heat up and everybody's running full pace. We're not really seeing it. It just looks like everybody's fighting a really, really tight truck here tonight. As we see another slide job, Nathan Meyer just is just getting absolutely dominated by these slide jobs right now, and he's not happy about that one. Sure, takes away P4 from Meyer. Meyer kind of gets a boost from Lawrence to go back at him down into turn 1. I don't think he's going to get that move to stick, though.
You usually don't see bump drafting at Iowa, but that's exactly what just happened. I mean, he just got a kind of a push into the corner that kind of helped him a little bit, but of course it did not help him right in this particular part of the racetrack, as Robert Lawrence is going to make it a little bit easier getting by him on the top side, as Edward Schurer Jr. now has to worry about the 5 machine. But Joseph Kazi now out to almost a half a second lead over Craig Ganzak. He has definitely been he's been running the fastest laps on the track out of the field at the moment. I'm curious, can he possibly win his first race and champion power equipment competition? Wouldn't that be a statement to everybody here?
He definitely could. He's super, super quick, but you got to look at the lap times of the top 3 the last time around. I mean, look at how incredibly tight that is, and Levine was actually the fastest of the bunch that time, but they're all within 0.03 of a second of each other. I mean, they are really, really tight. It's going to be a tough battle here going through the rest of this race. I mean, we're not even halfway in, just about halfway, a couple of laps away from it, but I think we're really looking at the top 3 right here as our future contenders.
Yeah, well, of course, I think that anything could change, though. I definitely could see something going wrong, or maybe possibly, like a caution coming out and shaking things up. I know we've seen winners determined with late race incidents as well, so I suspect we might see something like that as we see Robert Lawrence, of course, making a big send on. That is Edward Schurer Jr. Of course, we got to keep in mind there is still a high probability we'll see a green flag pit stop in this race, considering it has been looking very, very green. And the fuel window is 85 laps. Last caution we had was, I do believe, around lap 25. So I would suspect these guys cannot make it on gas. So when does this stop happen? I think it's probably going to be in the next 25 laps.
Yeah, if they want to split it exactly in half, I'm probably looking at around lap 75. Probably when we're really going to see a lot of people start kicking it off.
Maybe 15 laps away, yeah.
Yeah, and if a caution comes out, you got to think everybody's going to come down pit road, because from then, we don't have to pit again. If a caution does come out, we are good to go to the end of the race on fuel, but it will be the longest run on tires. So it'd be a little interesting just to kind of see who can figure out the tire management the best, because whenever you got that long green flag run, you save tires a lot different, right? I think everybody here knew, okay, the longest I'm running on this set of tires is 50 laps, but if a caution comes out right now, they would have to think, man, I might have to run 80 laps on this set of tires. I gotta really take care of them. So we could see a lot more comers and goers if we do get that caution to come out. But we've got the green flag cycle currently is what it's looking like it's going to be. I don't think we're going to get a caution before that green flag pit stop. And Causey's just kind of pulling out from Yanzak just a little bit. He's starting to just build that gap up lap after lap, getting it up to 9/10 of a second now.
I'll tell you, he's looking really good at this point of the race is Robert Lawrence. He seems like he's got it figured out on the long run. We are seeing a pretty heavy battle, though, Keegan Sabilo and James Harris. Sabilo's big send on Harris. These guys are battling hard right now. If we're going to see a caution, it's probably going to come from the 55 or the 77. These guys, this is not the first run-in that they've had here tonight.
It's just tight racing all throughout, man. It's that short track, stock car style of racing, and we're seeing it here. Even with only 17 drivers in the field, we still get these crazy slide job moves. As we're seeing another one with Meeks trying to go for it on Sabilo. We saw them racing hard not too long ago, just one lap ago, and he pulls off that slide job and makes it look pretty easy, pretty clean, but he's going to let the 77 get a good run coming back down the front straightaway. Sabilo, does he try the same thing, or did he just drive into the corner? Pretty normal. Yeah, he just drives in pretty normal, just holding it side by side with the driver of the 7. Really didn't do anything too egregious, anything too crazy to get that position back, but if you're the driver of the 77, if you're Keegan Sabilo, you gotta be a little upset right now. You know this is the second to last race, and this was your chance to make up those points, but right now, that championship contender, Justin Levine's running 3rd, and you're running 9th.
Yeah, this has got to be somewhat of a heartbreaker for the 77. I mean, just a couple races ago, this guy was in the points lead. I mean, he was looking like he was going to be the man to beat, but it looks like Iowa just not suiting him, as well as the last couple races, as well as the next race. The championship race is at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I mean, that's a 1.5 miles. Keegan has not been good at the 1.5 miles traditionally.
Yeah, the schedule just kind of lines up bad for him. If that's just not his cup of tea, then it's just kind of unfortunate, but I guess you had to get him out of the way at some point. It's just unfortunate for him. It comes at the very end of the season whenever he's in that tight championship battle. But I still think we're going to get some good races up here. Yanzak is not too far behind Levine in the points, but only beating him by 1 position is not going to be enough tonight if he holds on to that P2 over Levine than anybody else. I mean, everybody else that was fighting Levine in the points, it was Sabilo, it was South, and it was Meyer, and Meyer's running in 6. So it's just kind of tough right now. I think Levine's just looking to stretch out that championship lead at this point.
No, I think that's exactly what it is. I don't think Levine, I mean, of course, Levine has always got winning on the brain, but I think he's not really willing to risk it all. Here, he knows that, you know, hey, Craig Yanzak, 1 position above me, is not going to make or break me. You know what I mean? So, and of course, Joseph Causey, he's not in the championship hunt at all. I think Levine's like, you know, this is good for me. I am going to go into next week's race at Charlotte with a very good position, a good foothold to possibly win a title here. And I think he's, of course, the favorite right now. And of course, but we'll have to see. I mean, Charlotte is going to be a little bit of a different racetrack. That's you know, very unique 1.5 miles, very narrow. The quad oval, of course, makes it very difficult to remain side by side. So I suspect we're going to see an interesting one next week at that 1.5 miles.
Yeah, having these kind of point battles towards the end of the season just make it so interesting towards the end, because so many different people have to race in so many different ways. Levine, because he's looking good here tonight, he doesn't really have to push for that win. I mean, don't get me wrong. If this was, I don't know, at the beginning of the season, or if he was racing for the championship, I think he'd be pushing a lot harder right now. But at this point, he knows, hey, I've got this thing locked up, essentially, if I do not crash in either of the next 2 races, if this thing finishes like it's running right now. So he knows, okay, just get this thing to the finish. Who cares? I've got, what, 2 positions over P2 in the championship. I've got 7 positions over P3. Like, he's gaining points. He's stacking them. He's looking good. And he's running down Yanzak and the race leader right now, even with what I think is backing it down a little bit. So just having different people kind of in different desperation modes. Levine, his desperation meter is turned all the way down.
No, I definitely agree. Big battle going on right now, though, between Nathan Meyer and Edward Schurer Jr. as we see green flag pit stops unfolding. Meyer and Schurer Jr. have been slide jobbing each other over and over again here for this 5th place position. I don't know. This could get a little bit hairy as this has allowed Tyler Meeks to kind of run them down as well. But definitely agree with what you're saying about Justin Levine. I think Levine really cooled his tires down to kind of be able to, get this sudden burst of speed here late. But I'll tell you who's just incredibly fast in the long run has got to be Robert Lawrence. Lawrence has been running down Levine. And, of course, I think that's kind of what's inspired Levine to go a little bit quicker here later.
Well, and I think these guys know that, hey, everybody's about to come down to pit. So at this point, use up the little bit of good left in those tires while you got them.
Yeah.
Run a little bit quicker. Run them down to the ground before you have to pit. And Levine's doing that right now. He's cut that gap down to 1.4.
Of course, you see George Young coming off the pit road here. And I do believe we saw some other drivers decide to pit. I think Jason Taylor, of course, is off pit road. So green flag pit stops are definitely on and underway as the battle is on for second place. Janczak has been running that top line. Definitely like that's his home, that's for sure. As we're now 75 laps into the show, I do believe, you mentioned it, this is going to be the time for pit stops. I think the floodgates are getting ready to open.
Yeah, it's really just a high-speed game of chicken at this point. Like, who pits first? And then at that point, how many laps do you let them have those new tires? You've got 50 laps left. You know you can run down a good gap if you've got a little bit fresher tires. So Janczak comes down pit road from that second place position. Does Levine cover him off this lap? Or is he really just racing off of our leader, Joseph Kazi? Is he thinking, okay, I've got a pit win, Kazi pits, or a lap after? Just going to have to wait and see. Right now, they're running pretty close.
I like this call from Janczak. Janczak just says, I'm going to go ahead and go down. I mean, he made his call. Hopefully, he doesn't get any penalties or anything like this. I think this is going to gain him a lot of track position. He might jump Kazi in this running order here. And,
they are pitting,
who knows? This is, okay, so they saw him come down. They knew that he had to come down. Because, you don't want to give anybody too big of an advantage like that, especially with the fall off being as great as it is.
Absolutely not. You can't give a huge advantage, but I mean, I don't know. You let them have 4 laps, and then bam, you're super fast compared to them for the rest of the run. So it's a double-edged sword, and as the leader, you kind of get to dictate the strategy a little bit. And I think Kazi did that. I think his whole plan was just to wait 1 lap after whoever pits behind him pits, and I don't know. It'll be close if he gets jumped. I think Kazi might be safe, but I do think Janczak's going to have P2 over Levine.
Janczak right now is behind Sean Boundy, of course, who pitted before Janczak. So this is, of course, going to be a battle for, I do believe, the net
Janczak's going to have it.
So it looks like Janczak does come out, and he does jump Joseph Kazi. Now, Kazi, of course, is going to have, I do believe, a lap or so fresher tires. Tyler Meeks, though, right now.
Kazi sideways out of 4. Hard corrects into the outside wall. Rear end slapping the outside. Spins to the inside, into the infield. Joseph Kazi was just getting the tires up to temperature, but he was pushing too hard, seeing the back bumper of Greg Janczak right in front of him. And he pushed the rear end just a little too far coming out of 4. Spun it right around.
So easy to do that on cold tires at a track like this. I mean, this place is all about handling, and that's the worst place for that to happen, out of 4. That is literally the hardest part of this racetrack, I'd say, is coming out of turn 4. I mean, when you get back to the gas too soon on cold tires, you just spin out. That's exactly what happened right here. You see, he had got back to the gas and just all of a sudden started losing the handling. Tried to save it, was not able to do so.
Oh, and the caution's out. It saved him. Well, he is a lap down, though. He's got to take the wave around.
And caution comes out, I do believe, from Joshua Gathright. As the 89 touches the apron, gets sideways, I do believe, out of turn 4 as well, in the same exact spot that we saw Kazi have an issue. I think this is another cold tire situation. This is definitely going to change everything.
P3 and P4 have just been set up perfectly in the championship, but we'll get to that after we take our second commercial break. Final one of the race. We're going to go to you green flag to the finish here after the break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here on Grid Vision. We're coming down to the last 42 laps to go here. Coming to 41 to go. We've got Keegan Sabilo in the lead right now, but he's in pit road, so not quite sure where he's going to end up cycling out to. Kind of weird he's in pit road, but the pace car's on the start stretch. So I don't know what's going on, but Sabilo should be up front. And he's not really... Okay, well, we just got issues with our timing and scoring, I guess, because he's not really in pit road. But multiple people waiting to take the wave around, but Sabilo should be our race leader here afterwards. He got a break with that caution. He ran it a little bit long. Got the caution he needed. Tyler Meeks also does the same thing. James South, also, same thing. I believe Craig Anzac was the one that got the wave around, but South getting lucky 2 weeks out of the last 3. Kind of caught the same break at Homestead, allowed him to take the race lead. And he did a really good job holding on to it. All credit to him and winning that race. And now it happens again to give him a shot in the top 3. We haven't really talked about James South all night running towards the back. Now has newer tires than everybody behind him because they had to take the wave, and is running up at the front in 3rd place. Really good fortune for James South and really good fortune for Keegan Sabilo, who looked like they didn't really have that pace to fight with Levine here tonight, as they looked like they were going to lose their grip on the championship. But this kind of gives them a fighting chance. They're going to have newer tires than Levine this entire run. They've got a very good chance to finish in front of him and gain valuable points going into that last race.
No, I definitely agree. Of course, Justin Levine, negligible. He's got about 5 lap older tires, so we'll see how that really impacts what happens here. But this is definitely, I gotta be honest, in my mind, I kind of predicted this a little bit. I felt like South, he had started near the end, the back of the field, and there's been races like this before to where he's started towards the back, and some sort of late race caution has brought him up to the front. I'm telling you, he has got a horseshoe tucked somewhere in that race car.
I'd like to know where, because I need to tuck it in the same place in mine. He's been doing a great job, though. I mean, the thing is, he gets these lucky breaks, but then he backs it up. But the green flag is in the air. I think we're on a replay right now, but the green flag is out. Keegan Sabilo out, gets a little bit of a jump, and Tyler Meeks looks to the inside, down into turn 1 and 2. They're side by side, coming out of the corner, a little loose from the driver, the 77 on the outside, but he gets the run. Coming out of the corner, Keegan Sabilo on the outside takes the race lead away. And those drivers on new tires at the front of the field starting to pull out for everybody else. Sabilo, Meeks, James South, all pulling out a gap on everybody else behind. Oh, somebody spinning out of turn 4. Heavy contact coming out of the corner. The 48 makes contact. The 55, James Harris, goes around to the back. Multiple drivers collected coming out of turn 4. We're taking a look at the initial green flag since we missed it here. Pace car came down. Sabilo takes that restart zone on the outside. Everybody choosing the outside here tonight. Sabilo easily takes the lead over Tyler Meeks going down in the corner, but Meeks really did dive it in there pretty deep, pretty late. Tried to make a fight out of it. Was not able to hold it down there, though. We're just going to go on back. The wreck happened on the first lap, so we're just going to play it through. I know I saw the 48 of George Young and the 55 of James Harris get involved. Saw a couple of the drivers make contact as well. Could not quite make out who it was. We're going to look here at the back of the pack. That's Joseph Kazi on the outside of the 55. Maybe squeezes the 55 a little bit, but they were 3 wide. 55 then goes sideways. The 48 makes contact.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. I think Harris got squeezed in a lot of ways. I think Causey just didn't give him a whole lot of room to track up off the corner. And I'll tell you what, I got to give a whole lot of credit to John Lucido. What a great job for him to be able to avoid that crash. We could maybe even take a cockpit camera through his eyes. I'll tell you what, he very, very good on the brakes.
Could have been a lot worse, and it's interesting to see the guys that are coming out to take tires. Everybody in the pit road right now, we know that because of that last caution, a couple guys only had one set of tires left in the pits. Everybody that had stayed out under the green flag had 2, so everybody came down and pitted. Everybody lapped down, took the wave, but they still only got 1 set of tires left. So I was interested to see if anybody came down and took that last set of tires to kind of even out with the front of the field and hope that this thing ran green. Only a couple guys actually did come down. It looks like Harris, Taylor, Gathright. Actually, Gathright, I think, got the lucky dog. Young and Lucido, but a couple of the guys involved in the wreck. So not quite sure if everybody took tires or not, but looks like most of the field just kind of dogging it out on these old tires. They're just kind of content where they're running because I don't think anybody's going to be able to challenge the top 3 who are on the new tires.
Yeah, no, I think you probably onto something. I'll tell you what, Sean Bounty, he's on probably the oldest tires, that's say in the top 10 right now. He's got about, I do believe, 18 laps on his equipment. So if anybody was going to drop down pit road to try to take a gamble on taking new tires, I think it would be that 34. So I suspect I'm going to see that if we get another caution, the 34 is going to be the main, I'd say, person I'd be looking forward to go down and take a gamble.
Yeah, he obviously undercut on that green flag pit stop, hoping that it was going to run green and he was going to jump some positions and maybe catch a caution later. Unfortunately, not everybody had pitted, got trapped lap down, got that wave around, but again, he's on the older tires, but he still has all that track position, which is another benefit to everybody in the top 3 because, okay, well, the first guy that we've got to fight is on the worst tires in the entire field, so they really don't have to fight anybody behind him. Bounty's just going to back everybody behind him up. Somebody's got to make the move on Bounty first, so I think that's just kind of working in the top 3's favor. And also these caution laps, they just take down the amount of time that everybody else has to run them down. We're coming down to, on this restart, probably going to have about 33 laps to go. So not too much time there for everybody to kind of run these guys down. I think they're going to need another caution in about 10 laps so that everybody can come down and take tires and kind of reset.
Yeah, 100%. I think now would be a great time since we, I thought the pace car, well, there goes the pace car lights. I was getting ready to say we would give a shout out to one of our sponsors.
That's a great point. And who better but the main sponsor of the league, Champion Power Equipment. Looking for reliable and high-performance power equipment to help you tackle any job? Look no further than Champion Power Equipment. Whether you need a portable generator, pressure washer, or any other power tool, Champion has you covered with top-of-the-line products at affordable prices. And as the proud sponsor of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, we're excited to bring you even more power performance on and off the track. Visit championpowerequipment.com today to learn more. Big thank you to Champion Power Equipment for obviously sponsoring the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series as they come through turn 3 and 4 here at Iowa Speedway, putting on a good show for us tonight. Coming down to 33 laps to go as they hit the start-finish line into the restart zone. Keegan Sabilo on the outside, gets the jump, looks to clear Tyler Meeks before they get down to the corner. Meeks threw a pretty late Hail Mary last time through. Looks like he's going to try it again, going down into turn 1. Takes the line over the humps, over the bumps, down on the bottom of the racetrack. Trying to get side by side with Sabilo, but Sabilo's going to get that run off on the exit of the corner. Just about able to get clear of the 7, but the 7 again just drives it in deep, trying that slide job move we've seen time and time again here. Really late up the racetrack, moved into the wall on the outside. Tyler Meeks, way too late of a move. Both of our race leaders on strategy going into the outside wall, and that's championship contender, driver of the 77, Keegan Sabilo, getting heavy right front damage.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be good. But I'll tell you, I bet Keegan probably not too happy with the 7. Of course, the 7 was not a contender for the title, I do believe, this season, and just unfortunate. But it looks like, Keegan is not going to miss a beat.
The 15
He's going to
spinning
keep going.
in the back of the field, coming off a turn number 4. I'm sorry, Jason Taylor went spinning around, just looped it right as the last car passed, so no caution came out. Sorry to interrupt, but thought the caution was coming out back there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it did not come out for Jason Taylor. Of course, unfortunately for everybody else, it stays green. But look at this, just loose on the exit of 4. We've seen a lot of that here tonight, and just shows you how dangerous it is and how much precision you have to have on the gas pedal getting off of that turn. As we see Justin Levine does a big dive to get by Sean Boundy.
Yeah, he made that one stick. I'm a little surprised with James South. I think that restart was really bad for him. I saw him immediately go back to 4th place, and he was side by side with Levine after that. I really think Sal's in a good position here. He's got the newest tires at the front of the pack. Obviously tied newest with Sabilo, but Sabilo had that heavy contact to the outside wall. I don't see any damage, but I'd be hard-pressed to believe that there's not at least a little on that 77.
Yeah, there's got to be something on that truck. I mean, considering, you know, the Tyler Meeks went pretty much head on right in front of the wall, right in front of him there. So, but it looks like he's fine. I mean, last time by, he was the fastest car on the track. So we'll see if that continues. Of course, Justin Levine does have a little bit of older tires than the 77. So right now, this is looking good for Keegan. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out as you see Sean Bounty battling right now with James South. Nathan Meyer has made his way up into the top 5 once again. Joseph Conzi, who we saw spin it, loop it off at our green flag pit stop as well, is back up in 6th.
South just made a really good move to the inside of Mounty there for 3rd place, able to get clear. Now sets his sights on his teammate, Justin Levine. South's got newer tires. He's got a chance. He's only 0.8 of a second, 0.7 of a second off of the race lead. I would not count out the driver, the 21, just yet. He's got his teammate right in front of him, though. Justin Levine trying to run down the 77 to Sabilo. If he's got damage, it doesn't look like it's slowing him down much because he's still doing really well. But Levine is running him down on a little bit older tires. And South is actually running him down a little bit, too. He's closing that gap ever so slightly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that damage might be showing its head right now, showing its face. Keegan Sabilo last time by was about a little under a tenth slower than Levine. So we'll see if that is the culprit. We'll see what this lap looks like. And this lap he was about a couple hundredths. Yellow flag is out as Joshua Gathright, I do believe, bringing out another yellow. As we look at the front end of this truck, not any damage to speak of.
Wow. I think everybody pits, by the way. I think everybody's got one set left, and I think this is the changeover. You take them right here.
Yeah, this would put everybody on the same level as we see Gathright, I do believe, battling with John Lucido.
Didn't this exactly
what Lucido have a problem earlier?
I feel like we've seen that one before.
Yeah, I think that was a reboot. As we saw Gathright kind of trying to clear. He was trying to clear himself, I do believe, on Lucido. Not exactly sure if that's, I don't know. That's definitely a curious one for sure. But let's see what everybody does here. Does everybody come to pit road?
I feel like you have to. Everybody's got a set. Yeah, you can hold on to them and hope a caution comes out, but at that point, you got to get really lucky about when it comes out. Because if everybody comes down, well, you're not passing 20 guys. So I feel like we're going to see everybody come down pit road here. Maybe one guy towards the back makes a, one guy, two guys, 3 guys towards the back make a crazy call. Actually, a decent handful towards the back. But you know what? I get that if you're running 15th, 14th, 17th. I totally get it. But everybody else coming down pit road, taking those 4 fresh tires.
I gotta be honest, I don't get it. I really don't think it's I think that's, you're becoming an obstacle for everybody. But I'll just be I agree, but you're hoping, going to argue with you. I mean, just because I feel like, I mean, you're just going to be in everybody's way.
Well, you're hoping
Joshua Gathright, Joshua Gathright and John Lucido, who were just both involved in that crash, are staying out. Like, that's not smart, I don't think.
A couple guys took 2 tires, but everybody that stayed out is hoping everybody wrecks. They're hoping people wreck within 5-ish laps, because then they come down, take tires, and they got the newest tires in the field.
No, I could see that being, I could see that.
But we're going to pay a little bit of attention to our last sponsor of the evening, Blackstone Management Partners. Blackstone Management Partners guarantees an unrivaled one-on-one approach to every client, providing them with the solutions and services required to keep their dynamic brands thriving and one step ahead of the ever-changing consumer marketplace. Blackstone comprises expertise in marketing, communications, talent management, and event management. Working with their clients, they not only use traditional but state-of-the-art platforms, including mobile marketing, investigative marketing, and cause-driven marketing. Visit them at bsmpartners.com. That is Blackstone Management Partners.com.
Here we go, getting ready to get this thing back underway. John Lucido, of course, for the first time, going to be starting up front. Do we see any wheel spin? So here we go, through 3 and 4. Should I say Brandon Ball starting up front? First time we've seen anybody start from the bottom.
A lot of people taking 2 here tonight, too. But the pace car is off, coming out of turn 4, coming to 21 to go. Brandon Ball restarting on the bottom of the racetrack easily takes the lead over John Lucido. Oh, they're hitting for P2. The 48 gets all types of squirrely, getting down into the corner after contact with Lucido. That's George Young on the inside, able to take the position. Gets everybody kind of shuffled up a little bit in the midfield. We got like a little bit of 3 wide battles throughout the pack, kind of shuffling out to 2 as Harris is given it everything he's got, trying to get past the 3 of Yanzak as they're 3 wide with Sabilo and the 15 on the very inside. They're able to get
Virgin almost
out.
4 wide here. I mean, this is nuts.
And they're
right
3 wide
now.
further up. Joseph Ghazi, first car out of pit road, I do believe, took 2 tires, looking through the middle for P2, able to take it away from, what is that? Not Craig Yanzak, that's Lucido on the outside, and that's Young on the inside. Now looking to the inside of Brandon Ball, easily takes it down into turns 3 and 4, sliding up in front of Brandon Ball off the exit of the corner. Those 2 tires coming in handy. But Yanzak, he's coming. He's also got 2 tires, able to get through the field pretty quickly. Just got 1 more to go in Brandon Ball, and then he's going to be right on the back bumper of Joseph Ghazi.
This is really surprising to see 2 tires work here at this racetrack, as you saw Craig Ganzak take over 2nd place. Still 3 wide right now as Lucido tries to get by Brandon Ball, as well as the 55 of James Harris. Big send from him. So this is definitely very, very, very chaotic. But, man, I'll tell you, a couple months ago, 2 tires wouldn't have been the call. But it looks like now iRacing has really changed the game here for sure. It's big
good right
on the
now.
wall there for Levine.
It's good right now, but it is a decent length of a run. 25 laps on only 2 tires. I mean, I think it's a decent call, but towards the end of this run, they could be a good bit slower than guys like Levine, guys like James South that took 4 tires. I'd be a little bit worried, so they've got to build that lead out right now while they can. And Yanzak's really got to run down Kazi before they get onto the older tires. But man, we just have a hornet's nest back here from about 6 on back. Everybody is just jumbled up like crazy. We got a 3 wide battle. James South kind of going backwards, stuck in the sucker hole between the 48 and the 24.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a whole lot of bumping and banging back here. 3 wide on the edge of the top 10. Lucido up into, I do believe, Edward Schurer Jr. As well as South on the bottom. There's a lot of beating and banging back here. The dominoes could fall to where we might see an accident.
And Brandon Ball, who started on the front row, starting from P1 here on this restart, on the very old tires, falling all the way back to P9 already. Still 15 laps to go. Levine, I believe, is the first car on 4 tires. He's up in P5.
Yeah, I think his tires are starting to, I think, help him in a way, because you see Levine last time by was the fastest car, or truck, I should say, on the racetrack. He's running down Sabilo right now all over the rear end.
It's going to be a tough pass, though. Sabilo's not going to make this easy on Levine. I mean, he's mirror driving right now. I mean, he was running Levine's line, not letting him get any bit of clean air through the center of the corner. I imagine he's going to do this, or sorry, I imagine he's going to do the same in 3 and 4. Levine trying to kind of get a little bit lower, but looks like Sabilo's just going to drag it down to the bottom, coming off the corner. Just drags that truck down the racetrack just a little bit. Gets a little bit more dirty air on the front end of Justin Levine. Levine's just not really able to do anything here on the back bumper of the 77.
I mean, you could just tell that Sabilo is fighting for his championship hopes right now. This is going to have implications. You can see he's got a little bit of rear end damage as well, so he's fighting with everything he's got right now as we get closer and closer to the end of this thing. Less than 5 minutes left if we stay green, as we see Levine drives to the inside of the 77. Big send, slide job, and he makes it work. Does Sabilo do the crossover? And looks like he's going to try.
Yeah, Sabilo got a good run coming off of turn 2. He's going to try to throw it down. And then 3 and 4, he gets to the wall pretty quick, making sure that he takes that corner. But that's going to allow Justin Levine to get a pretty good run off. Looks like Levine's going to clear him before they get down into turn 1. Move the driver of the 33 up to P4. Big pass for the championship. Just about locks it up for Justin Levine going into the last round. Not really. If he wrecks out, he's probably going to lose it. But barring a miracle, I feel like that's a championship deciding pass right there.
Yeah, it could very well be. It's definitely not over until it's over, though. We could still see something go wrong. Oh, some beating and banging. I think that's James South and Tyler Meeks hitting one another further back.
Sorry, I thought South was going to go head onto the wall the way he entered that corner, and they clipped with Tyler Meeks, and they're just bump drafting all the way down the back straightaway. Yeah. Meeks not letting off that back bumper, even getting into the corner. Kind of surprised James South is not around right now.
Yeah, it's definitely not looking like these guys are being very friendly with one another. I think that's the best way to describe it, is we of course, are now under 10 laps to go. Justin Levine has fought his way up to 3rd place. He got by James Harris. Can he get up to Janzak? I don't know if that's going to be possible. Of course, Janzak has, I do believe, about 6 or 7 tenths between him and the 33. Of course, Kazi right now still looking like he could possibly win his first race in this series. It looked like it all had went away earlier as we see big battles going on. I do believe that is Sean Boundy battling with Meeks at the moment, as well as South finally has gotten clear of these drivers.
Yeah, it looked like Kazi had completely thrown his chance whenever he spun it coming out of turn 4 after he made his green flag pit stop. Did not get the caution he needed. Luckily for him, it came a little bit later, made a big 2-tire strategy call. Came out towards the front end of that and was able to take the lead, as we saw Janzak get into the fence just a little bit ago, allowing Levine to kind of close that gap to P2. But I think Levine might just run out of time before he can get there. Maybe the run not quite long enough for those 4 tires to quite pay off. Oh, but the caution does come out, and everything changes. Oh, and that's
like
Tyler Meeks.
Meeks.
How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet James South was involved? How much you want to bet?
I would not be surprised, because I mean, these guys
were
racing each other incredibly hard.
He's on the screen.
And it looks like
he's on the screen. I would have won that bet.
You definitely would have. Good thing I'm not gambling with you. But man, what a hit. I mean, Meeks is still sitting there too. He's just probably very upset. But I mean, he tried to slide up in front of South. I mean, let's see exactly what happened
South
here.
Came down the racetrack, I gotta be honest.
Yeah, he did. He definitely came down on the exit. I think that
you don't come down the exit often too like that. He came down and I don't think it was intentional, right? You can tell he's tight. I mean, he's turning the absolute living heck out of that wheel.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get that thing to rotate, right? Like, there's no malice in that. But he came down the racetrack and he right-reared Tyler Meeks. I'm going to shoot it straight. That's kind of what happened.
I wouldn't be surprised that they're both aggravated with one another either. Even though it might not have been malicious, I wouldn't be surprised, though, that South was not probably in the best frame of mind.
He was definitely not cutting him any slack.
No, not at all. And that's what I mean by what I say there. But this has definitely opened up the door for Levine. I think all he needs to do is one crazy send, and he's win this race.
Yeah, he just drives it in there and sends Joseph Kazi up the racetrack. And we're done. Lights out.
Yeah.
Call it.
I mean,
quits. Slam the book, done. Put it on the
green white checkered. I think maybe it's going to be at least a couple lap shootout, a 3 or 4 lap shootout, possibly.
Yeah, I think we're looking at 3 if I had to bet.
I'm just saying he's got the 4 tires. He had 4 tires. I mean, Justin Levine is on the freshest tires right now, and he was running down Kazi and Janzak, like you said. You even said that he was running out of time. I think now this opens up the door for the 33. I think he's got a chance to maybe still win this race, and if he does, it's going to be definitely one to celebrate. That's for sure.
If that green flag run had another 10 laps and it ran green all the way through, I think Levine had a very good chance. But with only having as many laps as we did, like I said, and like you said, he was going to run out of time. But here, it does even it up, but I'm a little worried that maybe that advantage gets evened up a little bit too. Everybody's going to have some chances to, kind of cool down their tires and let them just chill for a little bit. Maybe Kazi had overran him just a little bit, pushed him too far. Well, now he's got a chance to cool him back down. Got a heat cycle in him now. It could even it out a little bit, and this has been a super tough track to pass all night. We've seen people use that outside line to their advantage. But we've also seen some crazy dives into turn 3, so I wouldn't be surprised if Levine's on the back bumper of Kazi going down into turn 3 on the last lap and just makes an almighty dive out of it, and we see a crazy side-by-side door-banging finish here.
No, I mean, it could very well happen. I think the probability of a door-banging finish is pretty high, I'd say. If anything, I don't know who it's going to involve, but it's definitely going to involve somebody. I mean, you got to think we got some other drivers in this field as well that are desperate to put themselves in a good position for next week's race at Charlotte. So, I mean, what are these guys willing to do? I mean, Keegan Sobilo, Nathan Meyer. I mean, these guys right now are not looking like they're going to gain a whole lot of points tonight. This is their chance if they make a big move.
And they don't need Levine to be finishing in P3. They don't need him that high up the racetrack. If he's that high up the field, doesn't matter. I mean, maybe for Meyer, if Meyer can somehow get to P2 and Levine finishes 3rd, that's a big deal because they're so close in the points. But everyone else, it's not really that big of a deal. You got to have a little bit of luck here. I think for us to have a tight championship battle going into it next week, we're going to have to see Levine make a big mistake on this restart.
Yeah.
But here it is. We are coming to 2 to go. green, white, checkered. Coming to the green flag, Joseph Kazi in his first race in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series leads us back to green. 2 laps to go here at Iowa Speedway. Janczak switching lanes right before that start-finish line, getting to the outside, trying to get a good run into turns 1 and 2, but it opens up the inside to Justin Levine.
Yeah, I really like that decision there for Janczak. He kind of, was very aggressive. He jumped up in front of Harris. I'm sure Harris didn't appreciate it very much. But of course, Levine running out of time. White flag getting ready to fly, and I think that this might be it. Kazi out front right now, as he has now taken the white flag.
Yeah, Kazi with the race lead, but Justin Levine trying to make the move on Janczak, so he has a chance. Tried the outside, not able to make it work, but he makes Janczak run wide. They're side by side for P2 going down into turn 3. Justin Levine's going to do the slide job move to take second. Tries to get up to the side of the leader, Joseph Kazi, not quite able to do it. He's going to have to settle for second, but Joseph Kazi is going to win at Iowa Speedway in his debut in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series.
Wow. And do you see how close that race was for second place? Justin Levine almost didn't finish second. Janczak made a huge dive to try to take that position, and it was close.
Well, Levine was able to hold on, and that might... It's not going to lock him up, obviously, but that puts him in a really, really good spot for the championship next week. His closest competitor was Nathan Meyer in the points. Meyer ended up bringing it home in 7th, so that's going to extend that gap by 5 more points. I think Levine is going to have about an 11-point gap over his closest competitor going into the final race.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But look at this. I mean, the man of the hour, Joseph Kazi, first race in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. He wins it.
And we're going to go through our final race results. My buddy Brian mentioned it. Joseph Kazi, your race winner here tonight. Justin Levine brings it home in 2nd. Craig Janczak in 3rd. James Harris comes home 4th place with Edward Scherer Jr. in his debut coming home in 5th. Keegan Sabilo coming home 6th with Nathan Meyer not too far behind in 7th. Brad Thacker 8th. Robert Lawrence 9th. And Sean Boundy comes home 10th.
11th place belongs to Jason Taylor. 12th place, Brandon Ball. 13th place, John Lucido. 14th, James South. 15th, George Young. 16th, Joshua Gathright. And, of course, rounding out this 17-car field is Tyler Meeks.
That was your final race rundown. Now we're going to take our final commercial break before we head into driver interviews. Stick with us. We're going to talk to our top 3. Welcome back to Grid Vision and the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Thank you for spending your Tuesday night with us every single week. Tonight, we had Joseph Kazi come and win at Iowa Speedway in his debut. But up first, we're going to interview our P3 finisher of Craig Janczak. Craig, we got you up in the booth here. Good top 3 finish, but I got to imagine you were wanting a little bit more out of tonight. Ran good all night long. What more did you need to I don't know, maybe break into the top 2 or maybe even win this thing?
I definitely did not need to be the lucky dog on that caution after we just dropped in and pitted. I definitely needed to take the wave around instead of being lucky dog because it put me behind the entire field. So while I am elated to have charged back up there and had a shot at returning what Kazi gave us on lap like 30, nice slider, park it, would have been fun, but it was a really great race overall. Had some newcomers here, like Kazi. Good win to him. Welcome. It's a great way to start your tenure. And you know, the other ones that Sheer was, you know, I know him for a while, and then I'm not sure. You know, we had some other question marks around some of the other tactics, but anyway, you know, we needed something more. We definitely needed to not be the lucky dog there, though. That's really what caused just a lot more than we needed to work through. But it's fine.
So you got shuffled behind the wave around cars after they got waved around?
Correct. Yes. So when you're lucky dog in a green flag pit situation like that, or in any situation, you know, you drop to end of longest line.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be behind the wave around cars.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately. Yeah, it's not. It's the worst case scenario for.
I swear in real
like
life
this.
it's not like that. So they got to fix that on the game. I
They
swear.
definitely do. No, they definitely do.
I'm looking
I
it
don't
up
think
right
it is
after
in
this.
real life. I don't think it is in real life, but it is how it's set up here. So it really sucks, honestly. But I don't know. We would have had track position on Kazi because just the way that the cycle worked out. I don't know if he. I think he had a massive moment right after he came out of the pits. So he came out like on. You know, I net gained about a second and a half on him. And then I looked up again, and he was like 4 or 5 seconds back. So he must have just had a massive moment. So it would have been, I think it would have been ours if it went green the whole way. I think it would have been ours if I wasn't lucky dogs. So, you know, we can be down on those things, or we can be thankful that we brought it home P3 to make a charge to to hopefully be P3 in points, I believe. So we could dwell on the bad, or we can focus on the good. I'll focus on the good every time.
Yeah, very bittersweet, but still, congratulations on the P3. Great finish going into the last race of the season. Like you said, you're still fighting for that podium and points. So congrats on a good season up to this point. Congrats on your P3 tonight. Are there any shout-outs you can give us here at the end?
Yeah, going to start with a massive shout-out to our brand new partner, Team Conti Sim Performance. Really happy to be working with the Team Conti guys again. Spent about 2 years working indirectly with them through EPI. You know, this is the first place I wanted to go as soon as I heard that they opened this venture. So really happy to be able to represent them and their brand. Head over to teamconti.gg for any of your iRacing coaching or setup needs. We've got some apparel going on there, and it's the start of a massive change in the sim racing world for eNASCAR, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. Thanks to Champion Power Equipment, Green Mountain Grills, Blackstone Management Partners, all the drivers that show up every week, the audience that shows up every week, as well as you guys at Good Vision Productions are creme de la creme, and I'm excited to watch this one back. It was a great race on track. I hope it looks the same in review.
It was definitely a fun one to watch, and we appreciate that, Craig, and congrats once again on that P3 finish.
Thank you so much, man. Hope you have a good week.
Appreciate it. Same to you.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're going to move on to our second place finisher, Brian Britt. He's going to be standing by with Justin Levine.
Justin, I get to talk to you again here tonight. How about that? I mean, second place for you, though, unfortunately. Still a good points day. How are you feeling? I mean, are you disappointed, or are you happy with the good points day?
I wish I drove it in a little harder. I was going to clip Kazi if I had a chance. I was going to just drive in as hard as I could to make sure that I wasn't going to wreck, but at least hit his bumper, like maybe the left rear, just get him a little sideways, see what happens. But no, I can't be upset with that. P2 got as much points as I could tonight. Didn't lead a lap. I'm a little upset about that, but I can't complain with P2 with one race left.
I gotta ask though. I mean, you started really deep in the field. I think further back outside of the top 10. What was going on there?
Just me pushing my luck. I registered and I had a few responsibilities to do, and by the time I got back, we were gridding.
Oh, I hear that. Well, at least you were able to work your way up to second place. So I know if you had started closer to the front, you probably would have had something. I mean, of course, Kazik, very talented driver, but you as well. Definitely very talented, Justin. What do you think about this racetrack? I mean, how does it set you up confidence-wise? I should say, your confidence level when it comes to next week at Charlotte.
This track in particular, I could do without it. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but after maybe like 20 to 30 laps on tires, you can't pass. You saw me do it. You just got a slide job and hope that the guy behind you is smart enough to either lift or try to get a different kind of run. But in officials, you're getting ran over every single time. So I could do without this track. But it definitely is a confidence booster. I think Keegan is going to be second in point. Keegan and Nathan finished 6th and 7th, so me finishing second, any positions in between them is just more points for me going into the next race. I'm excited to see where the points are after tonight.
Yeah, it looks like I think you are, of course, still the points leader, and I do believe Nathan Meyer still holds on to that second place points place position. So I definitely think you did increase your gap. And I'm never going to talk to you again. I'm never going to talk to you again as well because you say you don't like this track. But who can we shout out, Justin? And I'm never talking to you again after that.
The best broadcast group in the business. Shout out to Champion Power Equipment for putting this on. James and all the admins. Got to thank them for letting me be here and bring my knucklehead buddies, Kazi and Josh and Ed. Couldn't think. But and all the viewers.
All right. Well, thanks, Justin, and you have yourself a good one. Are you sick?
Yeah.
You definitely sounded. I hope you feel better, man.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All righty, that was Justin Levine, driver of the 33, finishes in second place. Next up, Austin, standing by. I think what our winner.
My worst nightmare has come true. I'm sitting in Victory Lane interviewing Joseph Kazi.
Hey, you hate me that much?
Joseph, my good friend. Congratulations. Your debut here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Coming home P1 Iowa Speedway. You're looking good early. Made a really boneheaded mistake coming out of pit road. And then we were able to fight back and get the win here tonight. Just kind of walk us through your night, what you were thinking.
Man, I didn't think I was gonna have that much speed in the beginning. Like I was just thinking, I'm coming in here just to do this for fun. And we got towards the front, and I was like, man, we got some speed here. We look good. And then during that green flag pit stop, I messed up, made a boneheaded move, I got overzealous because I wanted to stay up with the 3. And me doing that caused me to be loose, and I lost a bunch of ground. But then that caution came out. Perfect timing for me. I made up some positions there. We had a couple yellows in between, and we had some green flag running. And then I was like, well, it's 2-tire fire time. So we went 2-tire fire, and we got back up towards the front, and it worked out in the long run.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about that 2-tire strategy. Were you a little nervous there coming to the end, especially on that last restart, where it just kind of cut your lead completely down, and Levine on the 4 tires was kind of put right on your back bumper on the restart? I saw you pick the outside line. Was that kind of in response, knowing, hey, I got 4 tires right here on the inside line I need to protect from?
Yeah, that was basically it. I mean, I knew the 2 tires were gonna, hold up very well, but I knew Levine was right there with his brand new 4 tires, or newer 4 tires. So I was like, I've got to keep the high side and just get a good jump. So I got a good jump, got out towards the front, and I knew as soon as we hit the white flag, it was pretty much all said and done right then and there.
Well, Kazi, you got to say congratulations again. I know it's a good feeling coming into a league and winning on one of your first couple go-arounds here tonight, being your first go-around around Iowa Speedway. Congratulations. Are there any shout-outs you can give here at the end?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the broadcast, like to thank the league. Thank you to Justin for bringing me out, and I have fun. Very fun race, and Ed said hi. He misses you.
Yeah, I was Team Ed, but he didn't run too good tonight, so he finished 5th.
Oh, you weren't on my team? I see how it is. I see.
Hey, man, look, it's just Team Ed. That's the way it's got to be.
I see you.
He didn't perform tonight, but that's okay. You did, so I might be Team Joseph.
That's right. I'll retire. I'll retire, man, motherfucker over here.
Oh my God. Well, we apologize for that little drop
My
right
bad.
there. We're gonna go ahead and move Mr. Race Winner out of here. You're celebrating a little too hard, too early. But that was our race winner, Joseph Kazi. Brian, what did you think of tonight's race? I thought it was pretty good.
It definitely was a good one. I definitely do want to apologize once as well on behalf of our winner. Of course, I think the beer got a little to him, but definitely a great win. And what a good race! I you know what? Even though that just happened, I'm more angry, I think, at Levine for saying that he doesn't like this track. But I thought it was great. I thought the racing was fantastic. We saw through wide. we saw some green flag racing, we saw green flag pit stops, and we saw just racing. I mean, this was some awesome racing.
Yeah, we did have a lot tonight. We got a good old-fashioned F-bomb at the very end, too. I mean,
Yeah.
we literally had everything. I mean, it's incredible. You couldn't ask for anything more. But I do think that's going to do it here for us at Grid Vision. Here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, I'd like to thank every single one of you for coming along and viewing it here tonight with us. We're going to run through our schedule right before we go. Thursday night, the SSRL Truck Series at Chicagoland. Next up, Sunday, the RGR Racing Series at Phoenix in their season finale. Be sure to tune in on Sunday night at 9 Eastern for that one. And next week again, the Grid Vision Super Speedways are going to be in action at Atlanta, and we're going to be back for the season finale here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series on Tuesday, same time, same place. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank my co-commentator Brian Britt and Austin Darbyshire behind the production booth. I've been Austin Edstrom, and thank you all for watching.